gentlemen and or others, it's Rabbit here, and this is Dominions. Now, I'm sure some of you may be realizing, oh shit, this game looks like ass. And from the review that I put out, or well, review slash impression slash just a general showcase of the game slightly, that this is the sort of game that can last for a good while. So, yeah. However, I have been getting rather into this game as of late, personally. YouTube. And I have actually had a request to play a specific race. Namely, where are they? Tir na Nog, the land of the Everyoung. Basically, very ancient Ireland and Irish legend. Fomorians are also Ireland, but they're more things like giants. And I do believe Ulm is kind of Ireland mixed with the Norse a little bit. Just a little. Ulm is by far one of the more powerful things on this list. Just because of the fact that this is an age where bronze, leather, and stone things are the norm, and they're running around in steel. Other races don't get steel until the late age. Anyway, Tir na Nog, land of the Everyoung. Tir na Nog is a blessed isle surrounded by whispering mists. It is the home of the Tuatha, a highly magical race descended from the Numidians, who once warred with the Fomorians, the giants. The Tuatha have made themselves lords and masters over the Firbolg, a lesser race descended from the same Numidian ancestors. With the aid of the Firbolg, the Tuatha, and I'm probably mispronouncing this, by the way, Gaelic is not something that's easy for English speakers to learn, unless they happen to be born in or near Ireland. Tuatha founded the Fomorian and attacked the Fomorian giants and almost succeeded where the Numidians failed. But eventually, the Fomorians were proved too powerful, and the Tuatha were driven back to their blessed isle. The Tuatha and their Seed. I don't really know how it's pronounced personally, but I'm sure people will tell me in the comments or over Discord, as they unfortunately tend to do more often than not. Seed. Anyway, the Seed's descendants have turned to crafts, poetry, and magical arts, but some have chosen the path of war and have become warriors and generals of great renown. The Firbolg, inferior to the Tuatha, but still far superior to ordinary men, compose much of the population and serve as farmers and lowly warriors. Tuatha, Seeds, Firbolg, and illusions. That's not bad. The military is the Firbolg infantry, the Seed infantry, and the Sacred Tuatha warriors. Spell songs, air, nature, water, and some earth for magic, and their priests are about average. In that instance, they actually make decent casters. Plus, they also make really good researchers because there is a magical item called the Owl Feather that increases research by a lot, but you can only get them if the crafter is a level 2 air mage, I believe. But I've never really played around with spell songs personally. And someone also requested a specific god for what the fuck is this? Ram's-headed serpents. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get sidetracked when looking at the gods. The ram-headed serpent is a great serpent born at the dawn of time. When the previous it is worshipped by the first men as a god of prosperity and healing. It is animal awe, regeneration, poison resistant for survival, recuperation, supply bone. Jesus, this guy's actually pretty good. Beastmaster. I have increased morale when commanded by a beastmaster. But his powers in the Rain's Horn Serpent was forever imprisoned in the forest of the Horned One, where she found an ally with a temperament resembling his own. Now, with the Pantocrator gone, the Ram's-headed serpent is breaking free to claim this world as his. Dog of the Underworld. It's basically Cerberus. See, Horned One is actually a pretty interesting god, as is the Irminsul. However, the request was to go with the Raven of the Underworld. Now, this is a super combatant. It has fear, flying, it's also stealthy, apparently. Mountain survival, patrol bonus, damn, not bad. Dark vision, dark power. This unit is more powerful in total darkness. It's not bad. Fortune Teller 25, and Corpse Eater. Grower, Banish. Each corpse will give the unit 1 extra hit points. That's pretty good. It also has Magic of 2, or Death of 2, which is not bad, as I could actually... Let's just get Undying. I don't know what Undying does, is the issue. And Death Weapons if we can get it to 9. However, I do not plan to go with the... I do not plan to go with Blessings very much for this one. And as we are naturally air, nature, and I believe the other elementals in smaller amounts, a bit of death magic isn't bad. I could go with blood magic, as I do know how to use blood magic. The issue is that I'm very bad at it. Additionally, I don't believe the Tuatha actually can. I think they're basically human as far as temperatures go. Let's see. Magic says Drain. I could go with Drain for the magic resistance, but what that does is it decreases your research rate. It also decreases the amount of magical sites in your land, which is unfortunate, as magical sites allow you to get more magical gem stuff in. So, I could do is Death, and I think Earth is what I need for it. It's either Death and Earth or Death and Air. Just constructs. I could be Dormant, which would give me a few extra points. Plants grow everywhere in riotous profusion. A land of death, on the other hand, is a desolate place. Pale gray trees stand in naked rows where forests previously covered the landscape. Many a calf is stillborn, and disease harries the populace. No sane man would stay in a land of death for long. And that comment about disease does actually carry over for your troops. If you have living troops in a death land, they are more likely to get diseased, and what diseased does is decreases their max HP over time. And this is the more unfortunate part. It also increases the amount of time that they would, or the amount of it gives them sort of an increased chance to get other afflictions besides diseased. It's a fact. Having a death dominion is basically like cursing every living troop that passes through the dominion. Whereas heat and cold, hot lands are generally dry and devoid of rain, though some are covered in thick forests and swamps. The climate of cold lands can range from desolate snow-covered tundra to thick pine forests or deep swamps. You gain design points by shifting the climate scale in either direction. This is more just if your race has a preference for one or the other. There are certain things that you get bonuses for and certain things that you get minuses for, depending on your temperature of your dominion. In addition, it also decreases income and supplies. What does cold do? Same thing? Okay. Productivity increases income and resources. And I know I probably should have gone over this in the review, but now that we're actually going to be playing through the game, I figured I should point out the finer things that I kind of missed in the review, because I was more focused on just getting the idea of the game out there, first and foremost. So productivity slash sloth is more focused on resources than it is on income. This is like required for Ohm. But I'm not so sure it's required as much for what's it for I should really like break that habit. I'm not so sure it's so required for. Can I actually offset it? Yeah, that's not bad. You can actually take misfortune levels because of Fortune Teller. Unit can prevent bad events. If we keep the Raven of the Underworld awake, we can actually take misfortune, and he'll offset it up, to misfortune 1. As he just prevents bad events from happening. So misfortune will increase event chance, and we kind of get decreased event chance from order, so that kind of counteracts it. But luck minus 15 increases the amount that people will die of old age. Land of Fortune is a good place to visit. Good events are common, and no one seems to have any bad luck. On the other hand, a Land of Misfortune is not a good place to visit. Nails will find their way through the soles of your boots, and the fish will let go of the bait. No matter how well a project is planned, trouble and ruin will undoubtedly strike. Lands of Misfortune are best avoided. Taking 1 in Misfortune is not a bad choice here. In addition, I don't think we need much in the way of productivity. However, income is going to be a major issue for us. Unrest reduction is also pretty decent. It's just, I don't know how good the bots are going to be about unrest. It depends on what we're going up against, really. Having extra magic is also always good, but you can do without it. It increases research, it increases your magic sites and all that, but it's not required, if that makes sense. Let's see, if I increase this, what goes up? Supplies minus 10%. So a good way to offset that would actually be to get income, or to get growth as well. Yeah, we can actually... But the question is, would I have more if I just didn't get the growth at all? I would have the same amount. Okay. So with that, growth is also a decent idea because that gives us more population to work with. And what else do we need? I could give him water and do a few things with that. I want to get, if you ever get a magic, try to get it up to 4. Well, a thing we could do is just increase this by 1. That'll offset it pretty well. Let's go. Oh, I can't. Okay. Can I get any more Dominion? No, I can't. Try to get any magic to 4 because that's when you start getting blessed effects. And it's just, in this instance, it's defense skill plus 2. That's not so good against archers, but against other melee infantry, it's pretty decent. If we went with Dormant, we could play around with these scales a bit more, and probably get a couple more magics, but I don't really... Well... That being said, the plan I have for this particular god, because it is a super combatant, but I'm not going to be using it as a super combatant, is I leave the god dormant, turn that off, and I can probably get rid of the misfortune, actually. Yeah, I can. I still need misfortune if I need to go into another magic school. But the thing that I want this god for is to increase the amount of magics that I can do. Because I don't think water is normally a thing for this race. It could be, in which case this is really bad, but I know death is not a normal thing for this race. This is the land of the ever-young. This is not the land of the ever-young wraiths, or the ever-young liches. So I'll need death in order to summon additional death mages, but the issue with that is that I need research before we can start summoning death mages. So I may just keep him dormant, since I'm not going to need him for at least a little bit, and 12 turns is enough to get the conjuration or enchanting research that I need for a death start. That being said, that does kind of turn this into a land that isn't really... It's like trying to play Urmor, from the Middle Ages, and Ur-Mor is like the land of liches in the Middle Ages. Additionally, I could put a couple points into Astral, I believe, and Astral is always a good thing to have. Nature is decent if I'm going to be doing a lot of conjuration. However, Astral is not a bad idea. How high could I get this? Just a 3, huh? And Misfortune is, it hurts a lot more when, it hurts a lot more if we don't have our god around to offset it by a little bit. Alternatively, we could take 1 less point in growth, get an extra point in Astral, and now all of a sudden our bless effects are much better. Magic resistance, defense skill, morale, undying. Yeah, that's actually much better. And so the Dominion takes 28 in order to get. That's starting to look a lot better. How much is this? 24. That's 20. Okay, that's 40. Wow, why is it 40? Oh, because this is an innate magic. I see. Huh. Well then. I think that looks good to me. I don't know how much the growth has been. Okay, I see. It doesn't really affect us too much. I could also get some heat and cold to offset to actually get the growth, but at that point, all that does is decrease our income and put us back up to 20. So I don't really care. Well, actually, what decreases it more? Okay, that goes from 21 to 24. This goes to 19, and I think it also affects our supplies. Okay. I think just decreasing growth by 1 is the better choice in there, which is unfortunate because that means that we're really close to being able to put. We are 4 points away from getting that, which is an extra thing of Undying, but I don't actually know what Undying does. Okay, so the name of the god is going to be the. Just as a small nod to the person that requested this. In addition, I am going to leave story events off. I am going to turn up the special site frequency to 60, just because it's a personal preference. It's basically, this controls how many gems you'll get, and if you have a special site frequency of 60, that means that more often than not, you'll at least have 1, sometimes you'll have 2 in an area. Plus, they'll generally be a little bit stronger. Strength of Independence is 5. Means independent provinces will be better defended. Number of starting provinces 1. It's pretty normal, and these are multipliers. Random events are rare. I don't mind that. Story events are disabled. Score graphs are disabled. Hall of Fame entries 10. Limited unique artifact research. Thrones of Ascension. Let's manipulate this a little bit. So I actually want this to be a slightly shorter game, just because I would like. Why can't I have level 2 throne? Ascension points required. Well, yeah, I wanted 1. So you can and I'm going to be decreasing that to 2. So you can either get both level 1 thrones, or you can get the 1 level 2 throne. Alternatively, if you want a much longer game, you can increase this by a lot of points and then just add a shit ton of thrones. It's actually kind of nice. The other methods of victory are conquer all. It's just you have to eliminate the other gods by whatever means necessary. I don't know if Thrones of Ascension still works if you eliminate the other gods. Victory by victory points. Victory by owning a certain amount of victory points at one time. I don't know how that works personally. Victory points are accumulated each summer. This usually results in games with a more predictable length. Fair enough. Victory by Dominion is an interesting way to play. That means that you're more looking to spread your faith rather than go after Thrones of Ascension, and it's actually my preferred playstyle when I'm not doing Thrones of Ascension. Victory by provinces is just, if you have, I wish you could turn multiple of these on, actually. So there's different ways to go about the game. Victory by provinces is just whoever conquers more after a certain number of turns. And then victory by researches, I think, is just whoever's researched more after a certain number of turns, but I just naturally research a lot just by my playstyle. So I'm not going to be doing that one because I'll likely win if I do that. Okay. And that's the setup. I don't know if... Yeah, I should probably like end the episode there because holy shit. Yeah. This game is... You can spend a lot of time setting things up, and I actually spent a lot less time than most people do, and I'm actually going to be reading over these. In the beginning, there was chaos. Out of the chaos rose worlds populated with multitudes of things. Or beings, rather. Wars were fought. Kings and emperors rose and fell. And civilizations were built and crumbled as millennia passed. Gods, dark and strange, were worshipped in pagan temples. Still, there is chaos. The gods fought among themselves, bringing even greater ruin to those who could not serve them, or would not serve them. At last there was one, a being of great power and enlightenment, who rose above his immortal peers and cast them out of the heavens into oblivion. From chaos came order, and with order came peace, and the creatures of the world flourished. The age of chaos had ended. Now the wheel has turned once again. The supreme god has suddenly disappeared. Prayers are left unanswered, and the smoke of offerings rise in vain to the heavens. No one knows why he disappeared, but it is certain that the people of the worlds are once again left without direction, without guiding principle, without order. Now is the time for the beings of great power and ambition to try their strength. The throne of the heavens stands empty, and only the strongest can rise to supremacy over all. Only the most powerful can ascend to take the place of he who came before. This is a time of great strife and suffering. This is a time of magic uninkled. This is the Ascension Wars. Pretty neat, huh? And yeah, that'll be episode 1. Thank you, or episode 0 rather. Episode 1 will be up probably tomorrow, because I want to get through a couple turns. And this is totally a game where I can do 1 turn per episode. Like, turns will legitimately take that long of just planning and trying to think through how are they going to do this? How should I manipulate my armies to do what I want them to do? That being said, this has been Rabbit, and if you liked it, leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a dislike. If you dislike it, I'll probably focus on other games, to be entirely honest. Just don't be afraid to leave a dislike, by the way. Same effect. I get feedback, and the algorithms like it when I get feedback. So, yeah. I'll be seeing you next time. I do hope you'll join me for it, and goodbye. Oh, God. I should have been drinking more of this coffee I had before me. Delicious. Hazelnut. Anyway. Goodbye, everybody. See you next time.